Good evening, everybody. Hello, welcome to another edition of SOP Online Conversations. How's your day been? Over here in Nigeria, we just had our presidential election on Saturday. I believe you exercised or carried out your civic responsibility. You were able to vote. And I believe that in your polling unit, it was calm. We believe we're great. We have done our responsibility. We're carried out our responsibility. Now it's left for us to put our faith in God and expect a new Nigeria. So, welcome to this SOP online conversation. This promises to be an educating one, an enlightening one, and I believe that we're going to go home. We're going to leave this live stream um, with information that will make us better parents. So, welcome today. If you're online with me, I want you to let me know you're online. You're watching by maybe giving a thumbs up. Yes, I can see you, Engineer Alex. Welcome, 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 everyone. So, quickly today, we're going to be talking about equipping your children in our evolving world. We live in a world that keeps evolving, change is constant, and our world is changing by the day. Things are not the way they used to be. Fashion is not the same. Education has evolved. Parenting has evolved. A lot of things have evolved. So there are certain things that we need to know, that we need to do to be able to equip our children so that they can be successful, so that they can actually fulfill the assignment they ought to fulfill on this earth. And there are certain things that we need to understand as parents. And that is why we're having this conversation today. We're going to be talking about soft skills, tech skills, and a lot of things that will make our children fully equipped in this evolving world. We can't hide our children away from change. We can't hide them away from the world that they're in, even if we lock them up in their rooms. The truth is that they will one day come out. So we rather prepare them for the world that we are in and the world that awaits them. So I think that is a way to go as a positive parent. So we're going to be having a wonderful guest today. I'm going to read his profile. We're having a marvelous Akporowho with us. Yes. I'm going to read this profile quickly and add him to the stream. So Marvelous is an ambitious and forward-thinking software engineer with a passion for building innovative solutions and solving complex problems. He was born in Delta State and started coding at the age of 8. By the time he was 14, he had already begun his studies in computer science at a polytechnic and graduated with a higher national diploma at 19. Not content with just his studies, Marvelous has also had a few business ventures, including a social media startup with friends and a software training program with his elder brother. While doing his National Youth Service Corps, NYC, in his 20s, Marvelous founded both Click and Company and has since worked for various companies in Osun State, Abuja, and Plateau State, that's Nigeria, before finally relocating to Lagos State, Nigeria in 2019. At his current job, working remotely, Marvelous is a solutions architect providing technical consultation to startups building or migrating their businesses to the cloud. He develops products for businesses and builds startups such as Kids Club, Top Universe, and SwiftGo with his business partners and engineering team. On top of all this, Marvelous is also pursuing a master's degree in advanced AI, artificial intelligence, and the future of automation with the University of Oxford, London, at age 25. Marvelous is an inspiring example of someone who has used their passion for technology to create a meaningful and successful career and continues to push the boundaries of what's possible. Amazing, impressive profile. So we're going to be having a conversation with this amazing personality. So please stay tuned. If you're online, let me know you're online. Just give a thumbs up or put up something to know you're online. But welcome everybody. So let's welcome Marvelous to the stream. Hello, Marvelous. Hello.
Hi. Hello, Kite, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I can hear you.
All right. Yeah, good
You're
day.
welcome.
Thank you very
How's your
much.
day?
Hello, guys. I'm good. I'm good. I'm very fine. Thank you.
How's your day?
My day was okay. My day was wonderful. Thank you. How was yours?
Okay. Okay, welcome, welcome. So I just read your profile and I was telling them out there that you have an impressive profile, very impressive one. And since you're going to be
Thank you.
talking to a lot of parents, I think a lot of parents want their children to have such impressive profile. So we're excited you are here this evening with us for this conversation. And I believe
Thank
that
you.
parents out there, they're going to learn a thing or two or more that will help them to be able to equip their children with the necessary skills and tools so that they can be relevant and possible and positive contributors in our world today. So thank you so much, Marvelous, for joining us. Now I'm going to ask you your first question. In your journey through this, in building this amazing profile, has it been all smooth? Is it that you everything has been rosy for you? No challenges. Everything just sometimes people just there's saying that if wishes were us, is beggars we rise. People just want to wish a wonderful future, or just wish, oh, I want to be a someone that codes. I want to be a genius, and just happens like that. Has it been smooth all the way?
Not at all. Not at all. Honestly, I think I
Sorry,
would say.
Marvelous, I can't hear you so well. The volume is a little bit low.
Oh, okay, okay. What about now? Is it better?
Okay, a little better.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so so I mean, basically, it has been amazing. I mean, the experience so far has been amazing. But to be very honest here, I would say it has not been very smooth, right? I mean, from the early days, coding and learning to code all the way from Delta State, it was extremely difficult. The problems with internet connectivity, the problems with data subscriptions, the problems with access to knowledge. Right, it has been very
Yeah.
difficult, of course, but along the line, when you are able to really get a hang of it, I think it becomes easier over time, right? I don't think it's easy for you to start up something for the first time, pick it up at a very young age, and of course we had we had few people that really understood these things in my environment back then. So I think I was just browsing and working with any content I'm able to lay my hands on. So it was very difficult, but I think I would say I really had a fun experience. Yeah.
Wow. Wow, that's nice. Has there been any role when it comes to parents that your parents have played in all of this?
Yeah, yeah. I think, of course, my parents actually did a good job of. I mean, I actually realize that now, but of course, my parents actually did a good job of, giving me the opportunity to to own a computer. Basically, when I was young, my dad's a teacher. My mom is also a teacher, but at some point she focused in business, so she's an entrepreneur, basically. Um, yeah, so I had access to a computer at a very tender age, and they gave me the opportunity and the time, right, to also explore a lot of things on the internet, and at the same time monitor what I was doing, right. I think that's the most vital part, because of course we had a lot of people that had access to computers, but could not do some of the things that I was able to do. So I think the fact that my parents were available to guide me, right? The fact that they were available to guide me, they were available to, to listen to me when I'm saying
Yeah.
things that they did not even understand. I think that communication is actually very important, right? Communicating with your child, and of course, trying to understand what they are doing, and trying to
Yes.
understand how best to assist them, even if you are not in that domain. Yeah, so I think that communication was key. Yeah.
Wow. Well, that's really nice to hear because I can imagine some years back when computers, a lot of things are happening now that looks like the norm. Some years back, they were not the norm. Some parents will not understand, and I think parents
I
must
would,
learn to
yeah.
be able to understand their children. Children generations are different, so parents should not be able, should not shut their children like, I don't understand what you're doing, so you cannot solve this part. You can imagine if your parents stopped you. Maybe today we'll not be talking about all these achievements you've had. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think
I
that's
mean,
a
I
key
mean,
of understanding.
yeah. So,
Yes.
so the thing is, actually, growing up, I have this talent for drawing. I was an artist. I loved art. I loved painting. I loved modeling. My dad is also an artist. But along the line, I think that communication aspect is actually very important, because I told my dad I really wanted to, go for fine art, fine and applied art. But he told me, okay, why don't you try the computer thing, and try to do the digital art thing. I had no idea what that was back then. I was 13, and I was preparing for my WAEC, and yeah, so I think I took that advice. I worked towards getting into computer science. So I think that communication and the fact that he could actually do some search and ask questions, and
Okay.
also enlighten me on the opportunities in the future, right? So I think that communication is key, and the parents should be able to make sure they understand their child's passion, and try to help them achieve it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and go all out, like to search out things. Like you said, your father had to search out so you can guide them properly. So we don't just work in
Yeah.
parenting
Yeah.
based on what we know. We should be able to research to be able to get more knowledge so that we can put our children in the right path. Really, really amazing, amazing, amazing.
Very
So,
correct.
do you think there are certain skills that parents need to equip their children with in this day and time for them to be successful? Are there certain skills, or parents should parent by default? Whatever comes is fine. Whatever the child picks along the way is fine, and the child we just hope that the child turns out well. Are there certain skills?
Well, I actually think there are some skills the parents need to, equip their children with, especially on the soft skills. The soft skills are actually very important. You don't want your children learning this from their friends only, right? Of course, I mean there are roles for friends to play, right, and there are also roles for the teachers, in school. But when it comes to the soft skills, the thing is there are so many information out there. You want to make sure um, you are part of that vetting process. You want to make sure when your child is into something, you actually understand their environment, and when they come back to you with some of those information, most of them will say, "Daddy, this is the norm. This is what is in vogue." You want to also make sure you are listening to them, and you're correcting them if there's need for. I mean, if you notice that they're going astray. So I think it's mostly on the soft skills, communication. I think you also need to guide your children and enlighten them on the idea of listening. A lot of children don't really learn to listen. I think learning to listen is a vital skill, and it's important that children learn to listen. And most of these soft skills at that early stage should be coming from the parents, because I can bet most times it won't really come from the schools. So I think it
Yes.
should really come from the parents, right? The soft skills are actually very important. Communication, good listening skills. Yeah, I think those are the two main skills I can pinpoint right now. But of course, we have a lot of soft skills out there to even say the least. Yeah.
Very true. Communication, and you have to be able to listen. And if you really look down the road, these are skills that has been our parents down the road. You have to be able to
Yeah.
communicate. You have to be able to listen. They have been on ground for ages. But I think the difference is that we have to be intentional in equipping our children with these skills. Like you said, most children these days, they don't listen. Most children these days cannot even communicate effectively. And most times you're asking a child, the child cannot express himself, the child cannot communicate. It's really funny and appalling. And like you said, I
Yeah.
think parents are beginning to fail because they expect the school to do what the home should do. Now, there's a part where the home needs to do certain things. There's an assignment for parents, and the school can help upgrade on this, on the foundation. But you find out that certain skills like listening, communicating, learning to work in a team, know how to interact with people. In this generation, most children don't
Yeah.
have that skill. They don't. They don't
So
have
so
those soft
I
skills.
think yeah. So I think one of the things I have noticed is a lot of children, of course, on the internet. They are able to talk on social media with slangs that are not even very correct. But the problem is, when they are faced, on a one-on-one
Yes.
conversation, they are unable to really perform well. In fact, most times they are scared to even talk, right? And I can give a lot of scenarios from situations where I was tasked to interview students or probably coppers, and you discover that they are unable to really express themselves, on a one-on-one. I mean, they know some of these things, but they can't really communicate. And a lot of people don't really know the importance of communication. It is very important, right? I mean, these soft skills for mentioning, you gave an example of a collaboration, which we call team dynamics. Most people don't know how to work in teams, right?
Yes.
And it's a very important skill. They don't know how to work in teams. They don't know how to collaborate. So I think the parents can actually play a vital role in assisting their children at that early stage. Yeah.
Very true. Very true. Okay, so you mentioned something like parents need to equip their children with soft skills. Now, some people out there don't, sometimes we use words and we don't know actually what the meaning of the words is. So, like, you have to equip your child with soft skills, soft skills. So, what really are soft skills? What are soft skills?
Yeah. So okay. So from a very simple, with a very simple analogy, yeah, I would say a soft skill or soft skills are basically the kind of skills that humans generally, whether a child or an adult, need to know to succeed in working environments. So, for example, I've been mentioning communication, right? Communication is not something that it's not a skill you would actually use in doing like a manual job, like we call that the hard skill or the technical skills. The soft skill is your ability to communicate with a coworker or a friend, or your parents, and make them understand, your intent. So if you have an intention of doing something and you are unable to communicate properly, the person you are actually communicating or talking to will not even understand, the point you're trying to drive. So the soft skills are basically those set of, sometimes minor. People call them minor things, or because you don't really notice. You don't really notice these things. It's not like programming. It's not like mathematics. But they are basically those set of skills that you need to know to succeed in, communicating with people, right? In basically, living your day to day, or having or carrying out your day to day operations, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Skills that we need to live daily, that we need
Yes,
to be able to associate with humans.
with
Yes,
humans,
and
exactly.
I think those skills are really lacking these days. I don't know. I think this generation
Honestly,
or the world we live in now, people are mostly should I use the word live in isolation or live more on social media?
I think live more on social media would be the right one.
People live more of their lives on social media, so they lose touch with the physical world. People can, like you said, people cannot interact with people anymore. People are trying to have conversations with people, and they're picking their phones, and they're like, "Well, I'm here. Can you not talk?" So it's like
It's a
it's a
problem.
problem. So everybody now is living on the net. But I believe that the social media or technological advancement is to be for our good. It should make us to be better social beings. Human beings are social beings, so we must interact. But if we
So
get to the point
I
that our interactions is more with computers, more on the net, then there's going to be a disconnect. And I think
yeah,
that's why
yeah,
we're having so
yeah.
much problems with parenting, families, and the society. Because people cannot even talk to one another, even in families, in homes. You find out that parents and children cannot become a simple conversation. So everything is just like nobody knows what's happening in anybody's life. So sometimes you want to find out what's happening in your parent, your child's life. You go on social media, like this is gonna happen. You don't even know as a parent because there is no conversation. There's no communication anymore. So you tend to know what's happening in your parents' life, your mom's life, your father's life, or your child's life on the net. And like, okay, just graduated, okay, just finished his last paper. How? So I think
You,
one of the reasons of this conversation is to be able to help parents know that there are certain soft skills that we need to inculcate and equip in our
yeah.
children for them to be better humans. People that have succeeded today in the world today, they have these soft skills. Even though we're going to talk about tech skills, we're going to get there. But there are certain soft skills, like you said, communication, listening, it is key. I remember those days when we were growing up, when I was in secondary school, and we used to have, what do you call it? Is it debating club? That you have to
Yeah,
come and talk and debate, and those things helped to build our self-esteem, helped us to be able to talk in front of people, help us to be able to express ourselves.
it was
But I
really
don't think it
helpful.
does
Yeah.
anymore. In these days, no. Why? No, it doesn't. But sometimes I don't know. Are there things that happened in the days of our parents when it comes to soft skill that's still applicable today that we cannot what's the word, throw away because we are evolving or because this is Gen Z or Gen Alpha? So we say, okay, no, these children are the tech age, so we just leave them to the tech. Let's throw away the skills. They will adapt. Are there certain skills that we still need in this day and time? Parents are listening. There are parents out there that are listening today, so they can hear. Are there
Yeah.
certain
So
skills that we need?
yeah, yeah, yes. I actually, I would say, of course, right? I mean, of course, there are some skills that, there are some skills that are there. I think the thing is, we don't really talk about them, right? We don't really talk about them, and that is just the major problem. So, for example, when I was referring to communication and listening, I can bet you that the previous generations, of course, they listened, right? They listened, of course, they listened to instructions. They asked questions, when of course, mostly in a one-on-one conversations, because the internet was not very much accessible back then. I think when it comes to communication, right? Communication is something that of course, our parents actually, yeah, our parents actually, our parents actually, listened, right, and they communicated well, right. But the problem right now is the fact that I have come to realize, that most parents, give children access to devices, gadgets, without without monitoring them or trying to understand what they are doing with those gadgets. So when you talk about the soft skills here, I think that aspect of communication, um, I think it's something that our parents were actually doing well, and I just feel it's something that we need to really, try to, talk about, right? Talk more about some of these things. So, of course, I would basically say, the angle of listening and the communication is probably the most vital part here, right? Because these two things are something that my mom will always tell me, Marv, please listen. Make sure you listen before you say anything, before you involve in any conversation. Try to understand, try to listen and understand where the other party is coming from before you even engage. My dad will always say, don't talk about something you don't know, right?
Hmm.
So I've had a couple of friends, they come to me and they try to talk about someone or something, and I tell them I don't really know this thing very well. I would have to do some research, right, or I would have to ask some questions. So I think our parents actually asked a lot of questions back then. I think that is something we should probably bring back, right? Asking questions, asking our children questions, because most children, from my experience, teaching kids, most children are, I mean, children are smart, right? They have a lot of
Yeah.
questions to ask, but I think they are scared. So it's either they are scared or they believe their friends are the right people to ask, and I think that is wrong, right? Fundamentally wrong. The children should be able to ask, the parents questions before even reaching out to their friends. So making your children comfortable enough to ask you questions. I think that is something the parents should also work on.
Okay, I like
Yeah.
that aspect. I think that's where children they have a lot of they're very curiosity,
Yeah.
and I think most
Curiosity.
parents tend to kill the curiosity of their children, especially when it looks like they're burdensome, they're disturbing me. But it's part of necessary development for a child, especially when you have
Yeah.
toddlers maybe from the age of like 3, 4, 5. They keep asking questions, mommy, this, daddy, and sometimes the parents are overwhelmed anyway. But when we keep shutting
You just
them
have
down,
to.
you kill their curiosity and you kill their ability to be able to ask questions and to
Yeah.
want to know. I think that's why most children are scared. And you find out that sometimes as a teacher, you teach in a class, and when you are doing like any questions or any contribution, everybody's mute.
Everybody's mute.
Were we in this class together? Because your parents have maybe unconsciously killed something in those children. So they feel that it is not right to be able to talk or to ask questions. Whatever you tell me is right. I think as parents, we should be able to build curiosity, mold it in such a way that the child becomes a better person. So it's very important. It's very important. So let's go back to tech skills. Now
All
we live in
right.
a very in a technological world. Oh God, things are really old. If they told us some
Things are,
years back that
things
we
are,
get to
things
this
are
point, we
moving
will not
really
believe.
fast.
We will not believe. And the truth is that we have not even arrived. Things are still evolving. Things are evolving. You know, most of our parents, it looks like they are lost in this generation. They don't know what's happening anymore because things are evolving. It's evolving so fast, so fast. And even for parents that feel that no, I want to shield my child from what's happening and such, I want to shield my child from what's happening on the net. You can't shield your child. This is the day what we are in now. We're in a technological world. So the best thing we can do for our children is equip them because the
Yeah, sure.
world keep evolving. We have not seen anything yet. Have we seen internet? Have we seen AI? Have we seen things? We have not seen nothing. So the best thing for us to do is to equip our children so they can live in this world. Equip, like you said something, you need to guide them. Like when you said you don't give
Yeah.
children a computer or a device, and you have not maybe tutored them on how to use it. You don't know what they are doing with it. But when you equip them with the right information and with the right skills, you are sure that they will know what to do with it, and it will turn out to be something that will become an addition to them. So for
Right.
parents out there, you can't shield your child from the world that is evolving. What you need to do now is equip them so that they can be positive influencers in this world. So they will not be like people that are from the Stone Age. You know, when you now go to Stone Age, people are you like, I don't understand what you're doing. You know, sometimes they do some things, are like, hey, which one is that one again? Well, we have to find passion so that we're not left behind. We not look like we're from the Stone Age and this is no. So I think so when it comes to tech skills, maybe you should explain to some parents anyway. What are tech skills, first of all?
Yeah, well, so I mean, tech skills are, basically, the skills that you can actually discuss, especially around, computing, right? Around computing, or I mean, basically, very close to computing in general. So, for example, you see people building applications to run on their mobile devices. So I'm sure most parents are using WhatsApp and Instagram, of course, right? So tech skills. We can give examples of the developers or the engineers building some of these applications, or even the product managers. So it's not necessarily about just coding, right? But we have like product managers, managing this application, or maybe we have the designers, right, designing this application. So it's basically centered around computing and innovation, right? So that is the simplest way to really describe it. Some of the regular skills that we know that are out there in terms of the careers, we have like medicine. The reason why we won't really refer to medicine as a tech skill is because it is not directly centered around the ideology behind computing and innovation. So tech skills are mostly skills focused around computing.
Okay, let me ask a
Yeah.
question that is a little, okay, not really off. What age do you think a parent should be able to entrust a child with a gadget that is internet enabled?
Well, so I think, I mean, I personally think, in my own opinion, that the moment a child can actually read and write and understand what they are seeing, right, or probably even learn from the patterns that they are seeing on that gadget, and of course, you are also very sure that you are not giving them things that would actually strain their sight. For example, I'm sure you have seen children that would go straight to the front of their big plasma TV and stare into the TV. I mean, you don't want
Yes.
that. So you want to give them gadgets that is right for them at that specific age. So let's say between the age of like 5, 6, yeah, I think 5 is reasonable, but I have seen scenarios where children start learning computing or technology probably from the age of 4, right? Of course, with the most basic things, so they just grow with it. So let's just say between that range is actually fine. But the thing is, we need to actually understand that when we say internet enabled, it doesn't mean you can actually add some level of restrictions, right?
Okay.
So yeah, you can give your child an iPad and restrict an iPad from YouTube, right? You can actually decide to give them an iPad and just make sure that that device is accessing like a classroom, or probably some app that they can use for learning. So you should also learn to come up or to add those restrictions to the devices. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. 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 Is there a way that some parents can be able to know how to add? Some parents don't know how to put restrictions. I don't know. Is there like a guide? For example, you get a tab for your child or a gadget. Is there like a step-to-step guide on how to put restrictions on these gadgets so that you are aware what the child is doing and there are some sites the child cannot go to, or is it possible? Is it like a step-to-step guide?
Yeah, so the thing is, they are actually step-to-step guides, but it depends on the gadgets, right? So we have a
Okay.
lot of gadgets out there. So I think the best thing we usually advise parents to do in most cases is when you are about to get a gadget, you ask for recommendations from an expert, or from
Okay.
basically a professional in the domain that can tell you the best option to get, and how to also go about setting up the restrictions. As a matter of fact, we have a lot of ways to connect to those gadgets, and you have the expert do it while the expert is connected to your gadget. So all you have to do is connect to the expert, and the expert would actually set up the security measures, right? Yeah, so there are so many ways to set up these things, but there's no single way to like do everything on every single gadget.
Okay. So
Yeah.
it's better to consult the experts and they can
Yeah.
help you out. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, that's fine. So parents out there, before you give your child, find a way so that most times as parents we just say, "Oh, I've got this for you," and you don't know what the child is watching. For example, my toddler, most times she likes getting the phones, picking the phones. She just wants to get to, and these days, a child that is not to play, she knows where YouTube is. She just goes to YouTube, and she's looking for Masha and the Bear. Look for, I like, ow, I like,
That's the pattern. That's the pattern I was talking about. They understand patterns pretty quick, right? So
wow, just because you're trying to do something like Jesus, if we don't find a way, before the child may just navigate into something somewhere she's not supposed to go into and the rest. So it's very key as parents.
yeah.
We need to be vigilant. We need to really be vigilant and be able to guide our children properly. So now when I read your profile, part of the team you have or the team you work with is the kids club
Kids
or the
club.
kids club. Yes. So I want you to tell us something about kids club. Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
What do
So
you
so
do?
Okay, okay. So Kids Club is basically, it's a platform where we focus on teaching children between the age of 6 to 15 um, how to code. And we also make sure that we integrate in our curriculum. We make sure we integrate, these soft skills that I've been talking about, right? From communication to team dynamics, to make sure children are able to learn to collaborate with other children, right, around the world. And we are also, focusing on yeah, basically diverse soft skills, such as I mentioned team dynamics. There's something we also refer to as first principle thinking, right? So when we are telling a child something, or when we tell a child something, we want to make sure that the child will not just accept what we said, because I mean, we try to make sure the child is able to ask questions, and ask questions that can make us even explain these things down to the grassroots, right? So we focus on teaching them, these soft skills, the tech skills such as coding, robotics, and yeah. So they also have access to a live instructor. So this is live. It's not just pre-recorded, but it's live. There's a live instructor they can communicate with. They can ask questions when they are confused, and that person is there, always available to assist them, during the learning journey. So it's basically a learning platform, right, for the tech skills and also the soft skills.
Okay, that's good. Okay, so Kids Club is a
Yeah.
learning platform for both soft skills and tech skills. I like the
Yeah.
part when you were talking about, was it first principle? Is it first principle analysis? What do you about
Yeah.
with
So first
children?
principle analysis, first principle.
I remembered someone I listened to a while ago. Was it Justin Colson, is a psychologist, and he was talking about raising rebels. And when I listened to it first, I was like, "How can we raise rebels? Our children cannot be rebels for what?" And when I listened, when I listened to it properly, I knew where it was coming from. Raising children that can ask questions, children
Yeah.
that can think for themselves. So we're not just raising robots. You just imprint it to them. This is the way to go, and you control the children that can ask questions, that can question the norm, can question situations, and be
Yeah.
able to produce results. So basically, like we said initially, like parents have a role to teach children, but there are all other platforms where children can learn soft skills, they can learn tech skills. And I think that's one of the reasons why we take our children to school, because as parents you cannot, how many of us can teach our children physics or teach them chemistry or teach them, so we take them to school, and it's a learning ground where they can learn communication, interaction, social skills, because they meet other children. So Kids Club does that by creating a platform for learning soft skills and tech skills. And I think it's an amazing thing where we know that our children from age, you said age 6 to 15, so they can start
Yeah.
from an early age to learn these things. And we begin to see, most times when children learn things, I read your profile, you started learning coding at age 8. That was early. And
Very
yes, age
early.
8, it was early. And if people look at your profile like, he's so young, and see the things he has achieved, the reason is because you started early. Now, most of the
Okay.
times, parents, sometimes we look back and like, if I had started this early, if I knew this on time, maybe I would not be where I am today. But no regrets. Life is progressive. We can still achieve
Of
the
course.
success we want to achieve. But
Yeah.
albeit if we can start our children on a process, a positive process on time, then they can do great and mighty things on time. So I
Yeah.
think it's a
Yeah.
very good platform. It's a good platform. So parents out there can take advantage of various platforms like Kids Club to be able to teach their children certain soft skills, like I think team dynamics, like negotiation, like reads. I'm
Negotiation,
trying
risk.
it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think there's something to really note here. Most of us actually understand the situation where we are coming from, and the way we actually learn some of these things. The idea, the major notion here is to ensure that we can democratize this and make it accessible, right?
Yes.
When it comes to things like negotiation, like you just mentioned, and risk management, a lot of people don't really understand that. In most cases, it's not always a competition of who comes out first, right? In most cases, collaboration would actually give you more success, right? A lot of children probably, it will be difficult even in the university right now to see people that understand the value of equity, right? Most times, equity is more viable on the long term than initial than immediate payments, right? So I've seen people that say, okay, I just want to do this and collect my money. But it's not always about collecting the money, because the money would always, get to a point where you can no longer even use it. Probably you use it for something else. Long-term equity, and making people understand the value of, long-term, sustainability as well. I think these things are very important, and the best way to actually teach the children is to make sure there's someone who is experienced, right? The instructors that we have on ground, people who are experienced in the industry, doing it, doing these things, building applications, building products in the industry. We want to make sure that the children are able to learn from them one on one, and eventually become better at these things from that early stage.
Very important. Very
Yeah.
important. Very important. It's very parents, as parents, we should be able to invest, make the right investment in our children. And I think in this evolving world, going to just the four walls of school, just maybe the primary school, you go to secondary and in high institution, is not enough anymore. I
It's
don't
not
think it's
enough.
enough anymore. It's not,
Are,
because there
are
are
you
certain things.
aware? So,
Yeah.
so, so sorry. Are you aware that there are so many people that when they go for NYSC, for example, they don't even understand. They don't have. They never understood that at some point they will get to a specific environment where things are completely different, and they don't even know where to start from. Right? They don't know how to engage people. So some people think, if this person is not my kind of person, it's very difficult to even engage and communicate with them, right? But if you learn how to collaborate from the early stage, imagine having a child from Kaduna and another child from Delta learning together on the platform, and they're able to learn to collaborate well, right? So this is going to benefit them long term, of course. I mean, you can think about it, right? It's going to benefit them long term than just being close to a specific environment for a very long time. Okay, so I
Very
think
true.
the ability to connect and learn from, get that experience of, that communication and also a collaboration, I think is really key. It's really key to children, right? Yeah.
Very true. Very true. Very true. So parents out there, it's very important. Let's make the right investment in our children. We need to learn to, like I said, the right investment in our children. Let's put our money in the right place. And every parent wants to be a proud parent. That's the reality. No parent wants to be the parent that is like you're ashamed. Everybody wants to be the proud parent, but it has to be a deliberate and intentional effort, something deliberate. And one thing school
Yeah.
of parenting does is to bring our way what we need, the necessary tools, the skills that we need to equip our children to be able to succeed. And for us as parents to be able to succeed and to create platforms and bring our way platforms that can help us. Sometimes when you teach people things, it's not enough. You can direct them to the necessary platform that can make them achieve what you have taught them. So I think that's the
Of course.
perfect circle in success. So if I tell
Yeah.
you do this and I show you the way or show you the place you can get that thing done, I think I've completed a circle of success for you. So I think that's one thing school of parenting does and we'll try to keep doing. So like I've said, one of the ways to equip your children in this evolving world is to equip them with soft skills, vital soft skills, and also tech skills, because we live in a tech savvy
Excellent.
world now and it's not going to change. There is no way we're going to throw away computers or throw. It's not. No, it's going to get better. It's going to get better. So, but we need
It,
to be
it's it's
equipped.
going to get better, and it's moving very fast.
And it's moving
Yeah.
very fast. Seriously, I just pray some of us will not be
Very fast.
lost along the way. So it's better for us to start equipping our children, no matter how small, but let's make the right investment. So in the long run, your children are gonna they are lost in the crowd. Sometimes we even have children now that they get in the midst of some of their peers and they can't talk. They don't know what's happening because the conversations are way beyond them. Why? Because of exposure. Yes, it matters a lot what you expose your children to. So some children are way up there and some children are way below. Not necessarily because their parents do not have the means to equip them, but their parents don't know. Knowledge is key.
They don't
If
know.
you don't
Yeah,
know something, you may have the
knowledge is key.
resources, but your resources may become useless because you don't have knowledge on what to use the resources for. So your children get into an
Exactly.
environment and they are lost. They don't even know how to connect because their parents. And most times the reason why children are timid or why they are shy, they cannot talk is because they don't know. Yes, you cannot. There's no
Yeah,
way. Yes, it's one of the reasons you don't understand what the other children are saying. So how will you contribute?
yeah.
You just listen and mope. Then maybe get 118 or two, and you can ask, okay, okay, I see. Yes, you don't actually. So, but let's try and not put our children in those compromising situations, and let's do the needful. So it's very key. So let's take advantage of the platform that is available to us. I'll talk more about it. I'll talk more about it on the page and on our group. So we can learn more of this. But seriously, marvelous. I really want to say again, your profile is impressive. For parents
Thank you.
out there that was not here when I read marvelous profile, I think I will drop it on our page with your
Thank you. Thank you
permission.
very much.
I
I
will
mean, it's
drop it
fine.
on
It's
our
fine.
page so that you can
It's
see
okay.
it. I wanted to do that before the conversation so people can see the person that is coming to talk to them so that like, okay, it's not this young person. Some knowledge is not actually, maturity is not actually the age. Yes, people have what you want. You engage them and get what you need to get. So I will drop it on our page so that you can see his profile and to understand where it's talking from. It's not just talking. It's talking from a wellspring of experience and knowledge. So it's very key. So marvelous. It has been a wonderful time having you here today. Parents out there are listening to you. Do you have anything to
Same
say to them? Even though it's outside soft skills and tech skills, but a word for them. SOP, we believe in intentionality in parenting. So, do you have anything to say to the parents out there and the parents to be? Because we have people watching that are not yet married, also they are singles, but they're going to be parents. So, they are here to be able to learn things that will help them when they get into that phase of their life. So, what do you have to say to them out there?
Yeah, so I think the major thing I would have to say here is that you really need to understand what is happening, right? You really need to understand what is happening. You don't have to just pay deaf ears. You really need to know what is happening, the future, the future of work, the future of education, and you need to make sure that you are able to give your children the best opportunities, right? Probably not by sending them to the best school or the most expensive school, but by giving them those little and vital, knowledge that you have access to, right? Especially when it comes to things like this. A lot of platforms or people don't really understand these soft skills that we just mentioned, but this is just an example. There are so many other ways to also, make sure you improve the life of your children. So basically, what we believe in is the idea that we know where we're coming from, we know what the future holds, and we'll do our best to make sure that we add values to the ones coming, after us, right? So that's what we really focus on, and I think that is something we should try as much as possible to also do, right? So yeah, so I think that is basically what I have to say.
Thank you so much, marvelous. That's really wonderful time having you here. I've enjoyed myself. Thank
Thank you
you
very
for
much.
coming
Same here.
online today. Thank you so much. We're excited. I'm looking forward to having you another time. Yes,
Uh,
thank you
it,
so
it,
much.
it,
Thank you for
it, will
giving
be
your
it will be
time.
like
We know
it,
you're a
it will be
busy
my
person.
pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you
Yeah,
so much.
thank you.
So have a
Thank you
beautiful
very much.
night. Thank you.
All right,
Bye.
bye. Thank you.
So we've had it today. The very vital skills we need to equip our children with soft skills, tech skills, for them to be able to be positive influences in this day and time. And like Marvelous said, Marvelous is actually works with a team, a company, Kids Code Club or Kids Club, that's into equipping children and is a learning platform, like you heard him say, for children between the age of 6 and 15, and it teach them soft skills like negotiation, risk management, first principle analysis, second order thinking, a lot of stuff. Can say some things that but when the children get there, they are taught these things, and it's like for the text kids coding and the rest. So it helps them to be able to be, what will I say now, generation alpha compliant, if that's the word to use. But like I said, we can make healthy investments in the future of our children today. It is very key. Let us prepare our children for the future, or the present and the future that awaits them. Whatever we need to do, like I said, you must not send your children to the most expensive school, but there's certain skills, certain knowledge that they need to get for them to turn out as success in this generation. It's very key. So, for those of us that may need more information on Kids Club, Kids Code Club, you can reach out to me on our social media platforms. School of Parenting One, that's number one. You can send me a DM. Yes, and I'll respond to you. For those of us that are interested, you want more information on what they do, what Kids Club does, or what Kids Code Club does, you can send me a DM and I'll respond to you. Very important. So I believe we've had a nice time today. If you have questions, you can also send me your questions, and definitely you're going to get answers to those questions. Thank you, everyone, for those of us that have been following us on our social media pages. Thank you so much. We are Instagram and Facebook, and the School of Parenting One. You can like our page. You can keep following us. Very important. And also, we still have our School of Parenting affirmation cards. Yes, affirming your children is very important. I read somewhere today, and the person said something. And one of the primary assignments of parents is to affirm their children, is to value them and to enjoy them. So it's very important that we find ways to affirm our children, and we also teach them to be able to affirm themselves. So when they grow to a certain level, they have a healthy self-worth, and they can affirm themselves, and they go on that journey, and they live lives where they have a healthy self-esteem. So our School of Parent affirmation cards are still available, 30-day affirmation cards, where you can speak affirmative words over your children, and you can also teach them to be able to affirm themselves with this